Hello and welcome to the Cast Iron Friday Night Interviews. So cool because we are Cast Iron, based in Brighton, UK, and these are interviews that we're going to be sharing with you every Friday night. It gives us a chance to chat to our favourite people in the creative industries and find out what's going on in their lives and what's really challenging them or bringing them joy in this current situation, or indeed any situation that is thrown at them. We're going to get a chance to speak to, as I say, our favourite people, and this is tonight is a bit of a trial run for us, where I get to speak to somebody who actually I've managed to keep in contact with quite well over the past 7 weeks, somebody who I managed to even see quite often. It's my partner in crime, my partner in life, my partner in wife, my wife, Michelle Donkin. So hello, how are you?
Hello. That was lovely. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm all right. I haven't even now. I haven't quite got a focus on how the day goes. I think I liken it a bit to, for those of us who have been there, up to the Edinburgh Fringe, where each day seems like 40 hours long at the same time as it being 8 minutes and it's done.
Yeah. I think because before the lockdown, I was beginning to work from home a little bit anyway.
Yeah.
So I was part-time in my other job, and I'm now completely working from home. Like I've left the other job. And yeah, even before this, so it was a bit like that, working from home anyway, because I'd never done it before. So I've had about a year getting used to the idea of scheduling your own time and working from home. But this whole lockdown thing has definitely sort of crystallized just how hard it is to manage your own time, or certainly for me.
Yeah. How do you find scheduling your time? Do you have systems? Do you have processes?
Yeah, recently I don't know how I've got through life not doing this, but I've especially as a teacher, because I was teaching for about 7 years, and I think it was really scheduled and really timetabled. So I think that's how I got away with it. That it was kind of like imposed on me,
Almost
which
like a
was
belly
lovely.
every hour sort of thing.
Yeah, you knew what you were doing, or what you should have been doing, and like when lunch was, when break time was. But yeah, so recently in the last couple of weeks, I've started using an online calendar, like a Google Calendar, and actually using it properly. So scheduling in work calls, scheduling in projects that I want to do that aren't just, so rather than just having like no calls but this blank part of the day, I've actually scheduled in things that I should be doing the actual work, rather than talking about the work, which I'm really good at. And yeah, it's been really helpful to finally have a calendar.
Yeah, and I guess also there's a sense of finding ways to utilize that calendar, because there's been a lot of talk, isn't there, about how you're meant to be really productive if you're locked down and stuff, but there can be a guilt attached to that. So I guess there's also a value to scheduling in the schedule times to not do a thing.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I again, before the lockdown, I heard about a brilliant thing. It was on a podcast, I think, somewhere, and it was about shouldless days, having shouldless days that you completely put aside for doing. I'm going to explain it really badly now, but kind of nothing that you should be doing. So they're days of whenever you think, oh, I should do that because I've got a day off. You're not allowed. It's only things that you want to do, not things that you should do. So it's a shouldless day. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So I try and do that at least once a week, if I'm lucky. Once a week, scheduling in a shouldless day.
And are there things that you finding that you are able to do that are not worthless, but they are, what do you do when you want to sort of like occupy time when it's not worthy?
Well, because it's hard when you work in the creative industry, like theatre and production that we do already.
Yeah.
It's hard to because it's really lucky because that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
So it's hard to go, okay, I'm going to stop doing the thing that I want to do because that's work now, so I'm going to do another thing. So I'm really good at, not really good at, but I prefer to have a hobby that has a point. I'm not very good at pointless hobbies. There has to be like an end goal. So knowing that about myself, knowing that I'll only tend to do something if I get a thing at the end, I've decided to learn piano. So I bought myself a keyboard, and I've been teaching myself how to play piano, because I thought that's a thing that I can do by the end of learning in 10 years time, or whatever, however long it takes me to learn.
Yeah.
I will have, it's time well spent. But it's completely not related to wanting to perform or wanting to use it in any way, but it's got like a point to it. And also language learning. I've been trying to learn Welsh for no reason at all, but just because, why not?
And has Duolingo been giving you a tough time about not working hard
Yeah,
enough?
it's got the most passive aggressive marketing system that
Yeah.
if you don't log on in the time that I think I set myself, so it's all, I've agreed to this. It can email me, and then it sort of says, oh, there's no progress to report.
Oh dear.
And then occasionally, after a while of telling me that I've made no progress because I've not logged on, it'll send a really lovely email, but really passive aggressive email saying, you seem not to have made any progress for a while, so we're gonna stop sending this email. Okay, bye bye. And then immediately you're straight on going no, and doing your Duolingo. Yeah.
Like a really sort of polite way of breaking up when you were first dating at the age of 11 or something. It's like,
Yeah, it really
oh,
works really well to get you back on and back
yeah,
motivated.
yeah.
Going, oh, you're clearly not having time for this, and that's okay. We're not blaming you.
Do you
It
have
works.
any upcoming projects actually that you are working on, that you are finding the opportunity to sort of like get, with this in theory more time that you are moving towards?
I'm yeah, without putting any pressure on, and like really casually, I suppose, I'm working towards writing a book. So I've already written one book that is now on its way out to the agents, and I say the agents as if I have one. I don't have one, so it's off trying to find an agent. And then I'm beginning the process of writing a second book, an unrelated book. So yeah, to try and keep the writing going. So I'm kind of on the fun bit where I'm plotting it all and planning it all and not actually writing, which
Yeah.
is like you can get stuck in that quite easily. So I'm trying to go, oh, okay, I'm going to stop planning at some point and actually start putting one word after the other.
Sure, yeah. Well, good luck with that. That sounds
Thank
exciting
you.
and brilliant. So this is going to be like the short test version of our interviews.
Yeah.
Sometimes the interviews will be a lot longer, depending on how much and how long people can face talking to me. It's difficult in like this virtual environment where you're very aware that any micro feature on your face is immediately noticeable. So as soon as somebody goes, then I know, oh, it's time to bow out now. But what I want to do as the closing question is, in these unique times, because you know how people in the documentaries for the war and stuff will go, oh, we didn't have chocolate, we're not going to have chocolate, we didn't see a Satsuma for 2 years. What I wanted to ask you, is there a thing that's unique to this now, that when we speak to you in 30, 40 years' time, that you'll particularly remember, that's particularly maybe frustrating, or equally something that's been quite joyful, that you think, oh, actually, it's a terrible, terrible thing, but actually I'm glad this thing happened for me. Is there any answer for that?
I think that apart from, I love the clapping for carers thing. I love that people are realizing that you don't need to be in the same room as each other to connect. I think if you're privileged enough to have access to the internet, that's a marvelous thing, to be able to bring all sorts of people together in one virtual space. And I think it's pushed a lot of people like me to use video calling when that idea was horrifying a couple of weeks ago. and I hope that in some way that continues, that people are making connections with other people, video connections with other people up and down the country and around the world, in ways that they haven't before.
Yeah. Well, that's lovely. I think, it's that whole thing of the internet was always meant to bring us together, and it looks like that in certain cases that is the case. And as you say, it's if you're privileged enough to have the Wi-Fi connection, then it offers you other privileges that you don't need to be travelling 40 miles for that interview or that point of contact, and you can make coffee at home and drink coffee. You can share a coffee even if you're not in the same room. But thank you so much, Michelle, for this conversation, this chat. I hope to see you very soon. We'll try and catch up.
Yeah, let's try and catch up.
Yeah, we'll do that. But thank you so much, Michelle. So goodbye. I'm trying to see where my hand goes. Look at that. There we go. So goodbye, Michelle. And we will be continuing these conversations with various people, as we say, in the creative industries and beyond, at Cast Iron Friday Night Interviews. See, I wasn't too sure of any of those words. Cast Iron Friday Night Interviews. But it's all those things. I promise you, and for the next few weeks and beyond, we'll be chatting to some of the most brilliant people that we know in the creative industry and beyond. So, take care of yourselves. Be kind.